We're live. Hey, all that Johnny Mo here. We don't even know what we're doing here at LabCoat Agents, but we do it really well. So I want to welcome y'all to this episode where I get to talk to an old friend of mine who is actually a very smart person. And he's got a fantastic program. My happy friend, Dan Stewart from Happy Grasshopper. How are you doing, man?
I'm great, Johnny Mo. It's so good to see you, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get back on the road and, share a beer with you here in the near future. Let's hope we get back to that.
Soon.
Yeah.
I got a friend of mine, one of our partners. She's out in Portland. She's our Portland, Oregon partner. And she put out a video the other day. I can't wait to people again. And yeah, I can't wait to people again either, because, we need that human to human. This is fun and all and everything else like that. But there's nothing better than sitting. I remember sitting in Manchester, New Hampshire, after you finished the show with Explode, and Pete from Box Brownie was there, Michael Hellickson was there. We just laughed and had a good old time. Yeah. And yeah, when we get back to people and again, that's going to be fantastic. So
it's going to be good for sure. Well, I love seeing the audience count grow here as we get started in the first few minutes. Want to make sure you guys can hear us and see us. So please tell us where you're from. Say hello. Introduce yourself to the group.
Yeah, and for the folks that are watching in the group on the Facebook Live, give a thumbs up, put a little L for live, or if you're watching the replay, put an R so we know what the audience looks like. And if you have any questions, post them either here or post them over there. So OKC, I see Central Valley. Yeah, we got them all coming in.
Texas. I hope you thought out, Pat.
Oh. Yeah. Poor Texas. My heart goes out. I'm from New England. So you know what y'all got is what I live with for 6 months out of the year. My heart goes out to you because I know y'all can't handle that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? You're not equipped for it. So I hope y'all are doing all right down there.
You are prepared for it. For them, it's like a whole nother deal. And I'm calling in from Tampa, Florida, where it's probably 79 degrees out there today and sunny. So you could just get a jump start on hating me now. That's totally fine.
All right, I've had that jump start for a few years. But anyways, what are we talking about today? We're talking about how to wow your past clients and how to stay in touch and top of mind and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, we've got a lot to cover today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to dive in. Thank you, by the way. I want to just say hello to Sheila and Christy and Irma and Regina, Glenn, Terry, Pat, Lisa, Daniel, Melissa, all these people who've jumped in and said howdy. I really appreciate that. Hello, Ruben. Love to see that you're here. That's awesome. 82 degrees. Yeah. So Coachella Valley too, man. Just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
That's where they do the music festival or something, isn't it? Do they do a music
and here we are with the Rockstar webinar, right? So we got a lot of good stuff to cover.
Yeah, so, and let me, before you get going, let me just say, Dan knows his stuff. There's a lot of imposters out there. There's a lot of people that come up with the latest and greatest this week, next week, whatever. Dan's been around for quite some time, tested, tried, and true, and his stuff works, and he has a unique approach to an old approach, which works. And that's what we're going to be talking about, your past clients and how to become a real estate pro and rock star and stand out. And really, I got to say this before we get going. There's 1.5 million real estate agents out there. Y'all know me. I gotta hit it this way. If I didn't, it wouldn't be me. Good cop, bad cop. I'm the bad cop. But there's 1.5 million of y'all out there. 1.4 million y'all doing the same thing, right? So to stand out, we got to do something just a little bit different. We've got to be just a little bit better. And I can't think of the guy's name right now. It will come to me. I have his cards around here. He has the 211, 212 degree concept. At 211 degrees, water is hot. At 212 degrees, water boils. Boiling water makes steam. Steam moves locomotives, right? So what we're going to be talking about is that extra 1 degree that is going to make steam and make that locomotive move for you. That's the best way. Sam Parker. That's the best way I can say it. So, yeah, people keep coming in Newport Beach. So let's get rolling. You got the slides shared. I'm going to let you, you're a seasoned pro. I'm going to let you go with it.
Let's do it. I mean, first, we're just going to kick off with a little general housekeeping here. So you probably saw me. I've got the chat box open. I'm going to be looking at it the whole session. So is my good man, Johnny Mo. So whatever questions you have, they will get answered. And, that means you need to get ready to ask good questions. You need to be in a place where you can take some notes and really decide that it's time to put what we're going to teach you to use, because Like so much of the country right now, listing inventory is really short, and the things you're going to learn today can fix that for you immediately. I did a session last week, and I had a handful of people reach out to me within an hour after the session to say they'd set listing appointments. So I'm going to share some of that goodness with you today. You're going to want to stand by for that. Now, you may have heard of my company, Happy Grasshopper. We're celebrating our 10th year. If you're here to learn all about that, you're in the wrong place. So just call us, go to our website, book yourself a tour. Today, we're going to be focused on high-level concepts that work. We're going to show you how to put those things into practice, into your business, so you can, attain that sort of rock star recognition within your own marketplace. So today, there are a few things we're going to make sure we're going to cover. We've got to define this, right? Like, what the heck does it even mean to be a real estate rock star? What do you guys think it means? I want to hear in the chat right now. What does it mean to be a real estate rock star?
Go ahead, put it in the chat on the Zoom broadcast, or go ahead and put it over in the Facebook Live in the group. Go ahead. We got them both going. So we're like high-tech NASA right here.
Awesome. So Pat says quality service. Kelly says have happy clients. That's a good thing for sure. Quality service and happy clients are great. But, is that rock star? Danny says, everyone wants to work with you. Vinicius, be famous. I love that. And I hope I pronounced your name right. Christy says, referral machine from past clients in Sphere. That's cool.
I like it.
Irma says, dominating the market, becoming that top producer. These are good thoughts, right? So you guys have an idea of what it means to you to really be a rock star. And we're going to define that a little further for you. We're going to break it down specifically what sort of things go into creating that kind of rock star status. And then I'm going to lay out the roadmap that lets you actually achieve that, right? So let's have a little chat about what it means to be a rock star. Think about it, Johnny. Do you have a favorite band, a favorite rock star you followed forever that you love?
Oh, I would have to say that would be Tool, the band.
Tool, how appropriate. Okay, so Johnny and I are old friends, so our relationship is based on gently poking each other. So that's what we do it. So let's hear who your favorite band is. Who are your favorite rock stars? Put that in the chat. I want to see that. So let's go ahead and get some good band names in there. Right now, as these start coming in, I'm going to break down the next layer for you. So, think about what it actually means to be a rock star. Like, rock stars have some very common traits when you think about it, right? They achieve a status that usually includes a couple of things, right? There's an elevated income level that comes along with that status. We probably all want that. And there's also elevated recognition. Rock stars trade a little bit of their anonymity for fame. Like, they can't really exist in the same place. So when you get to be super well known in your marketplace, you have to understand that you'll be recognized. Like, that's a good thing. It keeps people coming back to you. Mm-hmm. So some of the band names coming in, we got Thin Lizzy and Pink Floyd and Journey and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Foo Fighters, Foreigner, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
there's so many great bands, so many great musicians that are out there. Yeah. And when you think about what goes in to being a rock star, think about what they really do with us at a deep level. Like, really think about it. You guys have just named some of your favorite bands. Many of you can name like a dozen songs that you know every word to, right? We've all got that heartbreak song when things are, you put on that ballad and the feels, they really sink in. You have an emotional reaction in response to the work that rock stars do. Mm-hmm. Think about that, right? So anybody can foresee a transaction. Like, anybody can get a deal over the finish line, but can you provide an emotional experience for people during that process that makes you so much more valuable? And the answer is absolutely yes. I mean, so many of you are unpaid psychiatrists at this point. You have everything that can go off track on a deal. and you find a way to stitch it all together and see it over the finish line. So one of the first people I worked with in the real estate space, going back over 10 years, worked so hard to create what he called the wow experience for his clients. Like, he went as far as always keeping a cooler of cold drinks in the car. The water bottles that he had were branded with his marketing. You know, he was thinking so far ahead to make sure he could deliver a really memorable experience for them. You know, and that's something that rock stars do.
They do.
You know, it's not all leather pants, right? It's not all like dying young, right? There's some real hard work and forethought that goes into being a rock star. And the thing about rock stars is they don't ever do it alone. They don't. I mean, even if you name a solo musician who, you know, singer-songwriter vibe, just absolutely crushing it and writing all their own music and do it themselves, they're still not doing it alone.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some of the most amazing success stories in music, the musicians didn't even write their own music, right? I mean, that's something we know
Like
about.
Milli Vanilli.
When they go out on tour, they've got people arranging the dates ahead of time. They've got people carrying the lights and the sound system. They've got people out selling tickets. Like, it is a team effort, right? None of us truly succeed at the highest level by ourselves. We can get by alone, but we can't really thrive alone, right? So being a rock star means not just having a system to attract people to you, but having a system that continually works without your having to do stuff every single day. Mm-hmm. And can you imagine what it would be like for these rock stars if every time you heard their song, they had to play it themselves? You know, and that's what a lot of real estate professionals are doing, because they're setting up to where they have to make all the phone calls themselves. They have to follow up with every lead themselves. They have to reach out to every single person in their database themselves. And you can do that, but you can't really succeed at that rock star level until you put things on autopilot, right? So you need a way to do that. Yeah. And, you know, before you can put that in place, before you can actually make that happen, you have to do yourself a favor first. You have to change your mindset and stop making this harder than it really is. Okay. Johnny, can I prove something to you real quick?
You sure can.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question to everybody. So on a scale from 0 to 10, what percentage of your business comes from past clients and referral, right? So 10 would be 100%. 1 would be 10%. Let's hear, I want to see your feedback. What percentage of your business comes from past clients and referrals?
And this is such a beautiful question, because I reference, I'm not going to give any answers away. I reference the NAR stats that they come out with every single year. Mm-hmm. And there's one stat in there that we might touch on it. If not, I'm going to make a note about it right now. Let me just write that down. But that number should be significantly high.
It should be. And look at the answers coming in here.
Yep.
90, we've got 90%, 10%, 80%, 90%, 75%, 93%. We're kind of all over, right? It should be a high number. It should be a high number. And the stat that you're looking...
It might not be in the beginning. So don't get discouraged. It's something to strive, just like that rock star in the beginning when they're doing gigs. They're all showing up in that beat up van and carrying in their own equipment, right? In the beginning, you got to carry your own equipment.
That's right. Yeah, but do the stars do that?
No, they do not.
And if you're gonna be in business, you may as well be a rock star. Like, why settle? That's what I say.
100%.
So first question there was all about the percentage of your business that comes through relationships, really. And Johnny, I think the stat you were going to mention from NAR is that 89% of people say they'd work with the same agent again, and only 11% actually do. Is that the stat you're looking for?
That wasn't, but that is a true stat that's in the package that they put out every year.
Yep.
The one I was going to use was 60% of buyers and 68% on average. They break it down into columns, so it's slightly higher in some other areas. 60% of buyers and 68% of sellers used the agent previously. They were referred to them. They're a family member. They somehow knew them.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a big number. And I
Okay.
think that's a great segue. I know where we're going.
Well, I mean, we have to talk about, making this easier for you, right? Because there are a few problems that are preventing agents from really owning this and really having success with these relationships turning into more referrals and more transactions. The first one is organization, right?
Yes.
I mean, how do you organize a database to communication for communication? That drives people nuts. So next question, scale from 0 to 10. How satisfied are you with the organization of your database? 0 to 10.
Yeah, guys, write that either. We got a good activity going on in the Zoom. Go ahead if you're on in the group live, post it there too. I don't know which one I'm watching live, but I'm in one of them. I think I'm in the main LabCoat Agents group. Go ahead and post it there too. Let's see.
Yeah, I see these answers coming in. 7, 5, 5, 4, 3, 4. I mean, the answers here are not high. And, one of the questions I always love to ask from a stage are these two questions? And almost universally, we see the audience say, about 60 to 70% of the audience says most of their business comes from past clients and sphere referral. And most of the audience is highly dissatisfied with the organization of their database, right? So you need to forgive yourself for that because the tools and the technology have made it kind of a pain. It's not easy to sort out a database for communication. So, part of my goals today is to help you understand there's easy ways to do that and then to put those into use.
And not only is it difficult, it is an extremely daunting thing to do when you understand your DISC assessment. If you're a high D like me, or you're high I, to do database work is more like probably a C or an SC, systematic compliant kind of mentality. But we're too busy talking over here and this, or we're too busy over here driving the ship. But I can promise that organization is important. Just be careful that I think one of the things that happens, Dan, is agents get bombarded too, right? With the latest, the greatest, where if I wrote a blog on this yesterday, the day before, focus is the most important thing that you can have.
Sure. Well,
focus on what you got.
We're living in a time where our attention has never been in greater demand. We receive thousands of targeted messages in the course of a day, literally. There's a war going on every moment for our attention. And, for each of you to be here attending this live is incredibly valuable. Thank you to set aside time in your life to do this. The reason that we're so prepared to deliver quality content for you is because we respect the commitment of the time you're spending today. So, I want to keep trucking through this because there's 4 pain points here. The first was organization. The second is, what do you say? The third is, when do you say it? And the fourth is, for how long do you keep saying it? How many times have you heard, oh, I need to communicate with my database, and yet you scratch your head like, well, what the heck do I say? I didn't talk to that person for at least a year. I don't know how to reach out to them now. Well, we do. We're going to help you with all that today. So, let's talk about your business for a moment, right? I mean, if we were rock stars, we'd be talking about songs, right? As real estate professionals, we like to talk about leads, like where are they coming from? And, I realized that it's actually exactly the same. So the very best songs that have ever been written come from relationships, right? And that's where the very best source of business comes from for you too.
Sure.
And you can't go out and buy that. You have to earn it. Sure, you can spend money with a lead source and they'll drop contacts on you, but that's not a relationship. You have to earn the relationship, right? And then you have to do a high quality job for these people so that they refer other folks to you. And you can do all of these things. You absolutely can do all these things. if you leverage the right system and the right team to do this.
I love that word.
So leverage, yeah, that's a big word, right? We can't do everything ourselves. We absolutely can't.
Yeah.
You know, if we had to build the computer and Zoom and the internet we're connected on today, none of us would be connected, right? You should not expect to have to be responsible for everything in your business in order to be successful. What you need to think of is your business as a team, and you're adding and subtracting relationships on your team according to their strengths. Like, you know, probably nobody's ever heard of this football team called Johnny, help me out. They're in New England, up near you. They used to win a lot of Super Bowls. What's their name?
The Patriots.
The Patriots. Thank you. So they used to have a really good quarterback, but that person has moved somewhere else. Where did they move?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. Thank you. That's
Champion
me
Bay
gently poking Johnny.
You guys call it Champion Bay now or something?
Tampa Bay. Yeah. Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay. We'll take it for sure. Yeah, we'll take it. So, I mean, if you think about that, that's actually a really good way to talk about this, because, you know, you had a team that was highly successful for a long time, and, you know, eventually there was a need for a change. They made a change. It hasn't worked out incredibly well. So, you know, many of you have systems and processes in place that you've put in place that are no longer serving you incredibly well. You know, you can find a whole new way to succeed by bringing in something new and fresh. And what that should be, in my opinion, is LCA Nurture. This is a program that we put together with Tristan and Nick. So LCA Nurture is a version of Happy Grasshopper that's really very, very special. So this is designed only for your close sphere and your past clients, right? So, you know, we're like the songwriters that are cranking out the hits. You get to play this beautiful music to the people in your database so that you have the conversations, so that you develop that rock star reputation with them. So the way it works is super simple. I'm going to give you guys a link here. It's happygrasshopper.com/meet LCA Nurture. You just go there, you sign up for an account. We'll add you to the system and send out your login information. And then you've got about 5 to 10 minutes. That's all it takes to get your account set up. So you'll load your contacts, you'll set up your email signature, and then what we'll do is send out messaging that creates response for you instantly. Like, I'm not BSing here, literally instant response. So I'll show you an example here. We've got Cassidy, and like a lot of people, she's skeptical, right? She only loaded 3 contacts to test it, and she got her first reply in just 12 minutes. Like, how many of you are using a system that sends out content for you and nobody notices? Like, ouch. I mean, so many people are spending valuable time working on an email newsletter, for example, that no one ever replies or engages with.
You know what, too, is a lot of times you and I had this conversation. I believe we were in Columbus, Ohio, and you were eating fajitas, and I don't remember what I was eating. Brandon was with us too, and you were talking about email reputation and all these other things. So you might be doing all this work, but you're just ending up in spam because whatever you're doing it on, you're just doing it wrong, right? Or they're doing it wrong. So the fact that she was able to get a response that quickly is proof positive that you're doing something right.
That's a person for whom we had never sent a message before, right? I mean, so this could be you. Like, later today, you could be getting a reply from someone. And, you know, the system here, like the way this works is once your account is set up, we're going to keep your messaging on track throughout the whole year, right? So we'll remind you when it's time to choose a new message and send it out. Or if you choose, you can just press the autopilot button and it will go out for you. And you won't even have to worry about it. You'll just be getting the replies that come in. Okay. So I'm going to show you specifically messages that work here in just a moment. Before I do that, however, I just want to run over some data here. So first thing we need to talk about is deliverability, because like Gmail has changed the game. right? I mean, how frustrating is it to work on something and have it go to a promotional folder? We do not have those issues. Our deliverability is over 99%.
I set this up. I set this up so you could walk right into it, and I didn't even know it.
Well, it's an important stat. I mean, you're a smart guy.
is.
You're thinking of it the right way.
It is.
Like email. You know, if I did a 0 to 10 on email, I'd expect the audience would be like, 3. Like everybody thinks email is old and busted. And yet, like you can't control the algorithm in social media. You have no way of knowing if Facebook is going to show your message to the people you want to see it, right? And yet email gives you that certainty that you can get into their inbox. And, you know, if you Google it right now, you'll see it's still the highest ROI in marketing. So email slays for sure. It's a great place to start conversation. And look at the reply rates. You know, open rates of 38.2%, that's nearly double the industry average. But if 10% of those people are responding, that's, you know, orders of magnitude better than what most of you will have experienced using email. So now what I'm going to do is jump out of this screen share or jump out of that presentation. I'm going to show you guys LCA Nurture. So Johnny, can you confirm for me that you're seeing this?
I can see it.
Okay, awesome. So what you're looking at here is the dashboard inside LCA Nurture. So it's showing you some upcoming messaging opportunities. It's showing you if there's any unread texts here in the account, the different tags and the sends. I've set some tasks here for myself. You do have the ability to manage tasks. Down below here, you see we've got this super cool integration with Revaluate. And what this means is that we're pushing data through Revaluate's engine to figure out how likely your contacts are to move, right? So these are scores from 0 to 100. These two contacts are considered highly likely to move right now. So anyone that scores above 80, we're going to feature here on the dashboard for you. As you see, the system is highlighting upcoming birthdays for your contacts and also transaction anniversaries. So this is my actual account, by the way. I don't have anybody with an upcoming transaction anniversary right now. So that's not highlighted there. So what we do inside LCA Nurture is send 3 types of messages. They are email, voicemail drops, and text messaging. And then you have the option of sending handwritten cards whenever you choose. So I'm going to go ahead here and click on Send by Audience. And you'll notice that each of these messages here are rated. So each of our members rates these messages according to their preference. And our writing team then knows what our membership wants more of and wants less of. So Johnny, is there a subject line here that catches your eye? I'll preview a message for you.
Let me see. What was your favorite? Let's catch up today. Have you seen this? I would go with have you seen this? Because the emoji really catches my attention. And it's a question.
So I'll preview this, right? And you remember this viral story with the cat lawyer? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're doing is starting a conversation about something that's trending here. Sending this message to a new lead makes 0 sense. Sending it to a past client you haven't spoke to, sending it to someone in your sphere, a friend, it makes perfect sense to send that kind of content to these people. So all of these messages are editable, and most of them include a call to conversation that leads to transaction opportunities. So here the PS line is, do you know anyone who's thinking of moving? I need to find a few homes to sell in your area. Thanks, right? So last week I did a webinar and I showed people how to send that sort of message out via text. And we had a whole group of people that sent it out, and that created a bunch of listing opportunities for them within just a few hours of when the messages went out.
But there's a lack of inventory.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is hurting for inventory right now. You know, so think about how to get a listing today. If you're that homeowner, are you going to go with a stranger, or are you going to go with someone that you have a relationship with? I mean, it's nearly always the relationship that wins the listing, right?
Sure.
So
Here's another interesting statistic, right, from NAR.
Mhm.
75% of consumers go with the first agent they talk to. So if you're not going to be the one staying in touch with them, there's going to be another one.
Somebody else will. Yeah, somebody
That's
else
true. This is
will
true
for sure.
stuff, man. Real stuff.
Yep, it's true. So all of these messages, like I'll click through a few of them, let you guys see. They're interesting messages about things that are happening now. They're conversation starters. This is what we call a non-salesy email. It demonstrates you care enough about the person to stay in touch without having a sales agenda. Okay, that's really important. Um, so as these go out, replies are directed right back to your regular inbox. And I mean, we have literally thousands of stories how responses to our messages have created listing opportunities. So I'll click through a few of these. By the way, these are my ratings. So, it's okay if I'm showing a message and you don't love it. Like, that's totally fine. You'll find a message here that you love. And my advice would be that you should send one that makes you smile the most. Like, pick the message you like. That's the one you should send. Um, so my writing team refreshes this content once every 2 weeks. Like you see, these are only good until the 5th, and then we'll have a whole new selection here. Now, when you're first setting up your account, we walk you through the setup steps. You'll choose the holidays that you want to send messaging for, and we'll load the appropriate voicemail scripts here for you. So, like for example, I'll click on the birthday message. So here's a script. You just click the record voicemail drop button, speak right into the computer, and whoosh, out it goes, right? Out it goes. So there's all kinds of great ways to use this content that's in the system. And my team, we have a team of success coaches and support people that can help you get this set up the right way if you need the assistance technically.
And let me tell you how powerful doing this is, the transaction anniversary, their birthdays and things like that. It brings you to a human level, right? It makes you human and friends with them again. And I can tell you, 20 years in this gig, I've watched a lot of people do super well in this business, and they all had some level of doing something like this back in the day before there was automation, right? Back when you had to handwrite the card, to handwrite the letter for it to go out. So the fact that this is all done right here is a beautiful. It makes me almost want to start selling again.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much fun to sell when you've got people who just like you and are referring people your way, and it makes a huge difference. So I'm not gonna like show you every little bit here about the system, because I mean, there's so much here. We could spend a whole hour going through this. Instead, what I'd like to do is just kind of walk you through the value of doing this, the sort of returns that you should expect from this, and the ways that we've used our content to create really great results for our members. So I've put the slideshow back up. Are you guys seeing this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. So let's just do some math. NAR says average GCI per site is $6,000. Now, I know for many of you, that's not your GCI. Your markets where it's far, far above that. But let's, for this example, just assume that that's the number. Now, our data says that for every 100 people who truly know you, that you send these 41 touches per year to, there'll be somewhere close to 12 transactions per year that are generated from the messages that we send. So, I mean, think about that. 12 transactions adds up to $72,000 for every 100 people. So, what would that be worth? What do you think, Johnny? What would you advise somebody if you knew you could get a $72,000 return? If that was a reasonable expectation, what would you spend to achieve that?
Divide that number by a minimum of 3 or 4 is my optimal. So 72 divided by 4 is 15 grand. I don't know. 15, that's 30, that's 60, 18,000.
Okay. I kind of think of it in a couple of different ways. I mean, if I knew there were a guaranteed return, if I put $1 in and I get $2 out, I'd put in as many dollars as I could, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Of course, no one can really guarantee any sort of return, but just looking at our membership, looking at the kind of responses, this is a reasonable expectation. So, let's break down the value. If we consider just one transaction and we ask how much people would pay for that, well, we should realize we already know, right? Because a lot of you are on 50-50 splits, right? If you're taking that GCI from a referral, we know what you're paying for the referral, right? And, if you think about that, that's still way less than hiring a professional copywriter to create content. So, copywriting is one of those things that there are a million people who say they can do it, right? There are millions of people who can write, millions of people with English degrees or journalism degrees. It does not mean they're a copywriter. A copywriter is an expert in the art of getting things sold with the written word. And at Happy Grasshopper, we're focused on starting conversations with the written word so that you get the engagement you need to have more transactions. So, just to kind of clear up the questions of what the value of copywriting is, there's a site called Copy Hackers. You can go punch in whatever sort of copywriting you'd like done, and they'll tell you about how much it costs. And for the kind of work we do, you should expect to spend about 10 grand, right? So still a little less than what you were expecting to spend, Johnny. And of course, that's just the copy. You still need a system to send it, right? Now, that's not the pricing that we have, of course. The pricing for LCA Nurture is just $470 for the year, right? $470, that's it. And that includes all 41 touches. So 17 emails, 12 texts, and 12 ringless voicemail drops, okay? So back to the calculator. Like, let's do a little math on that. If we look at the ROI, if you were to get just one transaction worth $6,000, that's an $11.60 return for every dollar you put in. If you get only one, like, that's nuts. And literally, there are dozens and dozens of scenarios where people get more than that from just the first message that they send.
Yeah,
so
that's almost better than GameStop.
Well, yeah, come on, diamond-handed ape, like for sure. But 12 transactions, like 72 grand for an investment of $470. That's $1 in equals $139 out, right? So I know, like, you're watching something on the internet, you're going, I don't know, maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't. So I'm going to show you an example here where it really worked. Our member is Randall Martin. He's in Houston, Texas at a brokerage called CBNA. And this is the message he sent. It's about Blockbuster Video, right? So apparently they turned their last store into an Airbnb rental. And you can go there, you can spend the night, and you can watch all the movies you want for just $4, right? So it's kind of a fun thing. It's a fun conversation starter. And you'll notice here at the close, speaking of real estate changes, do you know anyone who's thinking of moving, or even someone we could convince to move if they got enough money for their home, right? So what I want right now is for you guys in the chat to say yes if you would send that message, and no if you wouldn't send that message. So give me a yes or a no as whether or not you would send it. Okay, I have a yes. Francisco and Carrie, I see your questions. I'll get to them. Dawn says yes. So let's see more comments here. Yeses and nos. Paul says yes. Okay, awesome. Yes, yes. Okay, here they come. Sheila's saying yes. That's good. All right, so everybody is saying yes here so far. Usually I get a couple of people like, no, yes. I don't know that I could send that because that's not about real estate. And yet, keep in mind, when you communicate with people about non-real estate topics, it shows them you care enough about the relationship to not always talk real estate all the time. So it makes sense to send this type of message. Here's the reply that Randall got, and I've redacted it here a little bit. So, she's reestablishing rapport. Hope you guys are doing well. And then here's the money. Are you able to give me an idea what we could list for, right? So that is like the ideal kind of email reply that can be generated. And Randall was super excited about this. He posted in his Facebook group, his company Facebook group, and then he posted again, right? So not kidding, just got a second email from a client that closed in 2017. He didn't even think they'd be looking, right? Because it was 2017 closed. And he says, if both of these alone were to pan out, we're talking between 1.5 million to 2 million turnarounds for the buy, sell, and both. Like, so think about that. I mean, that is an amazing return. That could be 60 grand in GCI from an investment of $470. So I'm telling you guys, you've got to communicate with the people in your database. And, you know, you can try to do all that yourself, or you can build your team with us for just a small amount of money. And you can reasonably expect to get the kind of results that we're featuring here. So the place that you do this, you just go to happygrasshopper.com/meet LCA Nurture. You will see that example and others on the site. You'll see video that's recorded there. You can really learn all about the service, and you can just go ahead and hop in. Now, I need to let you know that everything we do as a company, we stand behind. So if you sign up for this service and you don't love it, we'll give you 100% refund in your first 30 days. Like, no questions asked. Absolutely, we do that. Now, we also have some bonuses. So as we're rolling this out, the first 1,000 people who jump on board with this in LCA and choose the annual plan, you get Revaluate totally free, right? Absolutely, that's totally free. So Revaluate, I'll go a little deeper here. They are a solid company. Chris Dreyer is the principal there. I've known him for 7 or 8 years. Absolutely solid. Their brand is growing really quickly right now because they're able to reliably run the numbers to see how likely it is that someone's going to move. So that gives you a real edge in the marketplace. So again, just head over to happygrasshopper.com/meet LCA Nurture. And now I'm going to answer these questions, guys. So any other questions that you have, go ahead and put them in the chat. We'll get these answered for you. First up, do we offer products for teams? Yes, absolutely we do. So what I'd encourage you to do is just go to happygrasshopper.com/tour or send me an email, Dan@happygrasshopper.com, and I'll take care of you personally. We'll absolutely help you with that. So let's see here. Other questions? How many contacts does this service have? It holds up to 250 contacts. Now, we can expand that. We have some clients that have well over 100,000 contacts in their accounts. However, this type of communication is so intimate. Like, this is not for old cold leads. This is not for people who visited your open house a year ago. This is not for people you had a listing meeting with months ago. This is not for IDX leads. This is only for close past clients in Sphere. So my advice is to ask yourself, does this person definitely know me? If they do, they're safe to add. And do I like this person? Right? Because you're going to get lots of replies. You may as well have conversations with people that you like. Mm-hmm. So that answers that one. Let's see. Carrie's question, can I also send out marketing pieces to my SOI in addition to your 12 touch points? Well, Carrie, there are 41 touch points here. And you can. There is a need to also send out marketing pieces, of course. Yet that can't be all they hear from you. So I say yes. And, you know, from where I sit as a business owner, I always think of ROI. Like, is it working? You know, I know people who spend a ton of time delivering pies and calendars and all sorts of great stuff. And if there's a question mark whether or not that's providing return, it should be in your question mark whether you keep doing it category. If you know for sure there's a return there, you should absolutely continue doing it. So Let's see here. We got some more questions.
Dan, you used the word leverage earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of yours who I actually had the opportunity to meet and get consulted with 4 years ago, maybe at this point, told me, Kevin Harrington, your friend,
Yep.
told me, if there's one thing that you can master in this entire game, it's leverage. And he went on to tell me how he used to have hundreds of employees. Now he's down to like 23 because outsourcing really is the best way to do anything, because the people who are doing the outsourcing are experts in what their what their gift is, what
Yeah.
they're doing. So this is a perfect example of that leverage play. Let you, the expert, and your company, the experts, do that. And $470, if there's anybody that's squabbling over that, rethink the career, because $470 over a year period is nothing. I probably spent 3,000 today.
Yeah, it really, the size of the investment here, it's not even, I'll tell a little bit about my story, right? So like you look behind me, you see the 4 Inc. 500 awards on the wall. Happy Grasshopper is my 7th company. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I sold my previous company. I am here because this is what I love to do. I am firmly in the contribution phase of my life right now. So I want everything we do to be value priced so we can just help more people win. So, pricing is designed not to be a hurdle for anyone. That doesn't mean that we're absolutely right for everyone. So, for example, if somebody's watching this and you're going, maybe I should do this, and you don't really like people, you don't really want to engage with them or have conversations with them, you probably shouldn't do that. Like, we're going to create replies. People will respond to these messages. So, I'd encourage you to be the kind of person that others look forward to speaking with. If you're not there already, you should probably not subscribe to this service. On the other hand, if you're looking at your business right now and you're going, where am I going to get more contracts from? How can I get more closings? How can I break through my growth plateaus and achieve the goals that I've set for myself and I've missed and missed and missed? The answer to that is one thing, and that one thing is to have more conversations, right? So I'll map this out for you. Let's put our goal up here, like upper left corner of your screen right now. We've got our big goal, whatever number of transactions that is. The thing that immediately precedes that achievement of that goal are sales, right? You need the sales to achieve the financial goal. Well, where do the sales come from? Like, they come from opportunities, right? Of course. Opportunities is a big word for leads. Like, we need opportunities, we need leads. Where do the best leads come from? One place, relationships, right? Relationships produce the very best leads. Well, where do relationships live? Mm-hmm. In conversation, right? That's it. If you're not in conversation with someone, you're not in relationship with them. Conversation is where we raise our kids. It's where we fall in love. It's where we learn so much of the things we learn. It's where we negotiate our contracts. It's where we negotiate peace treaties. The conversation is something that's uniquely human and incredibly powerful. So how do we have more conversations? We ask the right questions. That's why you'll see in all of the content that we're sending, we're generally closing with a question. We want to spark that conversation so you can start marching up that staircase to the achievement of your goal.
Yeah, and that's a question that most coaches are going to ask you, or the mathematical equation of what your daily activities needs to be comes down to is you need to have X amount of two-way conversations about real estate. And what this is doing is allowing those conversations. And it's as simple as maybe 10. If you can have 10 two-way conversations every day about real estate, you're going to do super, super well. Yeah. What this is doing on overdrive for you is generating some of those conversations, right? They're generating some of the conversations.
Yeah, super reliably. And if you think about like just the email portion, once every 3 weeks, and how different would your business be if once every 3 weeks you got a few replies from people who wanted to know what they could sell their home for? Mm-hmm. Like, that could be amazing for you. And what happens if a week before their birthday, they get a text message from you that says, "Hey, Johnny, am I the first person to wish you a happy birthday?" Like, that feels great for them, right? And then on your birthday, they hear your voice in a ringless voicemail drop, wishing them a happy birthday. Like, there's so many cool ways to structure this so that your marketing rhythm is being maintained, right? For sure you've got a reliable way to start conversations throughout the whole year. And again, it's super value priced with, potentially astronomical returns.
So I just want to say this. I remember several years ago, I think it was actually Nick who may have actually said it, is, with all the money that's going into real estate tech and everything, there's really no money going into after the sale technology or anything else like that. This bridges a mammoth gap, that it's almost like, you could sell rotisseries too, set it and forget it, right? In a way. But
it's a challenge, right? Because if you're a person of merit, like, you really care about your clients, you're a true fiduciary, you want to do a great job for them, well, it feels really risky to just send anything. Like, you want to send the best stuff, and with us, you can be sure that you are. LCA Nurture is where we start with a lot of members. We serve some of the largest brokerages in the country. We create really elaborate recruitment campaigns for brokers and teams. We have a whole system that catches and helps convert leads in real time. Like, there are so many ways we can help our members achieve goals. And yet, without that foundational element of a solid communication plan for past clients and Sphere, people are just leaving so much opportunity on the table.
Sure.
So, yeah, we really, really would strongly encourage you to adopt this program, make LCA Nurture part of your plan for 2021, and you'll see growth. You absolutely will.
Listen, if you get one, you got 365 days to get one.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
You know what I mean? And if that average rip is 6,000, which I think is relatively accurate, then and I know that's an old cliche, people saying, but Dan, I've known you for a while. I know people that have used your systems, the full system. They wouldn't keep paying if it didn't work.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So that's another thing that I kind of want to mention is there are no contracts with us, right? So you're not committed for any length of time. And I'd be honored and privileged if you would jump in and give it a try. And you will see for sure that people reply to your messages, just like I've shown you throughout the session today.
Well,
so
you got 30 days to try it risk-free. I would try it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm just looking through here. I want to scan for any more questions that may have come in. One of the most common questions we get is, how many people in my area are using the system? Because I think, a lot of us are used to, like, XYZ marketing platform sends out the same exact message for all of their clients on the same exact day. Like, there's one day a month I get about 75 emails from my friends over at Keller Williams. They're all the same. So right from the start, we programmed this to work differently. Each of you will be on your own unique send cycle, right? And we make sure that no single contact ever gets the same message twice. So, even if everybody in your brokerage signed up and you had several shared contacts, those contacts would never get the same message from you that they're receiving from another member. So that's something that's helpful for you. Yeah. So Johnny Moe, thank you so much for having me today. It's great to see you. Definitely appreciate your time. And to the audience who's here today, thank you so much for joining us. There are some guitars on the wall, but I'm no rock star. I can play a little bit, but you don't want to hear it, I promise. So thank you, everybody, for attending. Francisco and Carrie, thank you. Appreciate that. Tessa, thank you so much. Love to be here. So one last call for questions before we wrap it up. Any other questions? Now's the time.
Yeah, going once.
You're welcome, Daniel. You're welcome, Powell.
So y'all, I just do it. That's what I would say. Just do it. It's short money. Try it out. You got 30 days if you don't like it, but you're going to love it. You're going to love it because everybody I know that uses the Happy Grasshopper products love it. So.
All right, good stuff. I see a question here. Catherine is asking, is the link working yet? That's interesting. I'm going to test the link right now. Looks like it's working to me.
Worked for me.
So it might be on your end. Let's see. I see Melissa's posted something in the chat here without the HTTPS. That might be it, but Tessa's posted it there the right way. That should work. So please click on it there with the HTTPS and we should see that that goes through.
Yeah, so, HTTPS:///. There you go. Tessa just did it.
Yeah, boom. Thank you, Tessa, posting that again.
And Francisco asked, what do you have for cold leads?
Love it. So Francisco, we should have a chat. I'm going to jump over to a different page here and I'll share this with you real quick. Okay, so what you're seeing on the screen right now is the reason people hire Happy Grasshopper. It's only these three things: lead conversion, recruitment, past clients, and sphere. So specifically for agents who have like old, cold zombie leads that aren't converting, like that's not a unique situation, right? We've seen that happen before. So here's an example of a message that can reactivate those cold leads. And Francisco just screenshot it. Steal that message, grab it and send it, and you'll get replies from people who happen to be interested right now. Brent Daly here, he's a longtime member and supporter of Happy Grasshopper. Here are his results. Low open rate from that big pool of cold leads, and yet he found 17 deals that were hiding there in that stack of 10,000 contacts.
Well, 14%. So, I mean, it might sound percentage-wise low, but it's what, 140?
Well, for us, I mean, for us, that's considered pretty low. Like I'll scroll down. This is a message that's designed to set appointments. So if you've got an empty calendar and you need to fill it up, just go ahead and grab a message like this, right? Sending that message out will get lots of responses. This should only go to people who know you. This is not a cold lead message. But look at the difference in the open rate, Johnny. I mean, wow. Huge difference. Like, huge difference. A lot of people are opening that message not because of the subject line, it's because of their relationship with the sender. Like that's what really makes the difference. So, you know, the power of your relationships in achieving your goals just can't be understated or overstated. It just cannot be. Yeah. You know, if you think about it, you probably have every person you need to have in your life right now to achieve any goal you can set for yourself. What's missing is that you're not in conversation with them enough. You're not communicating your goals enough, and you're probably not asking for help enough. One of the things I've learned in my career is that if I ask for help, I generally get it. You know, people will show up to offer help when you need it. So don't be afraid to ask. And, you know, again, it's my privilege to help any of you in any way I can. So please feel free to ask. I'll be here for you.
Yeah, and I'm going to be reaching out to you soon because I want to talk about doing it for this new endeavor.
Happy to help you.
I'm not going to sit here and write emails ever again.
Yeah, well, why would you? Not when you know me, brother. Come on.
I know.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm just going to give one last scan here for questions. Francisco's asking about buyer leads, rental leads, and seller leads. What do you have for these? Everything. Everything you need, we have, Francisco. So I'll encourage you to reach out to me directly, dan@happygrasshopper.com. We need to have a chat, Francisco. I'll show you these things up close, get all those questions answered for you. So Rosalind, we're going to talk soon. I'll reach out to you here I have a appointment in 28 minutes. So as soon as we're wrapped up, I'll reach out to you directly. So thank you for that. And everybody just go have a great day. Go get a listing. You can do it.
Go be kind, go spread some kindness, go get a listing, and then spread those Benjamins around town.
All right, cool. See you, Johnny.
Peace
Bye,
out,
everybody.